Hello, you guys. Welcome back to Channel Claire. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in this crazy, crazy world. And wow, this news is not shocking. I knew it was only going to be a matter of time because honestly, Blake put herself in a corner. She put her husband in a corner, and she ruined their reputations and career. And there was nowhere else in this situation for them to go but further down. They were never going to recover at this point. And so now it's being reported that Blake is trying to essentially get out of this whole thing. Let's look at this story. So this is being reported by Variety. It says Blake Lively is attempting to withdraw her claims against Justin Baldoni of intentional infliction of emotional distress and neglect, infliction of emotional distress. The move comes after Baldoni's legal team sought discovery that included her medical records in their efforts to defend the It Ends With Us director against her claims that she suffered severe emotional distress and pain, humiliation, embarrassment, belittlement, frustration, and mental anguish. Okay? All of those things. So they were like, okay, that's fine. You experienced all of that. If it was so severe, you must have sought some type of medical attention, some therapy, some type of help, some type of medication so that you could go throughout your day-to-day, because quite honestly, we've seen her out and about at various events, showing up at, what was it, Times 100 event. She's been doing premieres and being on red carpets. She's been everywhere. So if you're so in distress, what are you on to be able to function as you've been functioning? If you're so distressed, because a severe distressed person is not going to be able to do all that. They're just not. So now she wants to withdraw this claim, which honestly is her case, until she added, well, it began with that until she added the bogus SA claims. But so basically she's trying to withdraw from the case as a whole, is what I'm saying. This is her admitting she has nothing. And there was going to be a long road between here and March of next year. And every turn, it's just not looked good for her. I did see that they somehow managed to block Taylor Swift from being subpoenaed. So that was, I guess, a win for her in some ways, because it was really being rumored that Blake was essentially, allegedly, trying to blackmail Taylor into supporting her in the public. And that's hella embarrassing, because we already know she was touting Taylor as one of her dragons, just like her husband, Ryan Reynolds. And so all of this, I'm really wondering, what was the reason? What was the purpose? There has to be a greater, bigger story to this as to why Blake Lively decided to ruin her career, her reputation, and possibly, potentially, her marriage. What was the reason? Could it have been some fling? She got major feelings for Justin Baldoni. I mean, he's hot. If y'all remember at the beginning of this whole ordeal, one of his voice memos was released, and he had like that super deep, husky, sultry voice. Like, I get it. So I wonder if that was it. Or they also have been throwing around this theory of her wanting to get rights. Well, her and Ryan wanting to get rights to the sequel. But I'm like, is it really that worth it? Or trying to get producer rights or producer credit? Is it really that worth it? To try to take down a man's career? What was the reason? And I hope that she doesn't get let off. I hope that they continue on with this. I hope that Justin doesn't, drop the case, because she did this. It was nothing but sheer arrogance and just the worst of rich people that are just snobby and are entitled as fuck, and did not think that this person, Justin, was going to be able to find the resources to fight back. And he showed them up. He called their fucking bluff. And I know it has to feel good for him a little bit with this coming out. You don't have it. You can't produce it because it's not actual. This is all fraudulent as fuck and fake. The only way, and I remember Brian Freeman saying, they're not, dismissing this case or whatever, they're going full throttle. But I'm saying, like, if they really want to, like, not waste anybody's time and money anymore, I think the only thing they should accept is a public, because she wanted to go public with everything, is a public written letter to Justin Baldoni, the Wayfair team, Justin's family, all his people, from Blake and Ryan, apologizing and admitting that they committed complete fraud, and that Blake is going to seek some help because she has some character flaws that clearly have shown in this situation, and we sincerely apologize for putting you and your family and your, production team through all of this for no fucking reason. Our sincere apologies, Blake and Ryan. And then get the fuck off and go somewhere else. And you don't need to be seen for like 5 years minimum. Minimum. We don't need you on anybody's carpet. None of that. 5 years minimum, and then the random pop-up of Blake at like some fucking farmer's market or something, and someone snaps a picture of her and she ends up on like People, like, oh my god, you remember Blake Lively? That might be acceptable. But it's ridiculous. Time out for people. Like, it sincerely feels like she made this all up. All signs to point that she made this up. But for what? That is what I want to get at. And I feel like that is the main reason why I want this to continue in court, because I feel like that will end up coming out as the why. There has to be a reason. So, let's see what this says. She was so humiliated and disturbed and distressed. Like, really? Why would you do this? You were known as like the gossip girl. She was considered A-list, I'm pretty sure, because she was married to Ryan Reynolds. You could go anywhere, go to any fashion show you wanted, get the best table at any restaurant. You were going to the Super Bowl and stuff with one of the biggest pop stars, Taylor Swift. And now all of that is done and nobody wants to be attached to you. For what? Or what? Is Variety gonna let me read this, or is it behind a paywall? Let's see. Because I was gonna try to read the article, but this is acting weird. Let's see. Okay, so it let me in. Blake Lively abandons claims against Justin Baldoni of infliction of emotional distress. Yeah, I'm sure you did, Blake. I'm sure you did. So it says Blake Lively is attempting to withdraw her claims against Justin Baldoni of intentional infliction of emotional distress and neglect infliction of emotional distress. That's a lot, Blake. That's a lot to claim that someone did and then have no proof to back it up. Like, that's insane. That's a little wild. So she's all distraught and disturbed and stuff. And so now she's dropping those claims. The move comes after Baldoni's legal team sought discovery that included her medical records in their efforts to defend an Infliction director against her claims that she suffered severe emotional distress, pain, humiliation, embarrassment, belittlement, frustration, and mental anguish. She just pulled every buzzword out of the book and threw it at him. This is deserved. Like, Blake should have to go through with this. It just sucks that, like, it's so much wasted time and of money, just resources. It's just a waste. It's truly a waste. So they're going to have to come to some type of settlement or whatever, but it needs to come to a settlement and a public apology, signed letter to the public by some type of publication, top of the morning, 8 a.m., opening of business, so everybody can report on it. Like, let's not even play games. And a settlement. So that would be the only way. So basically, they were asking for her records because Lively attempted to withdraw the two claims surfaced in a filing Monday by Baldoni's attorneys, who are seeking to compel the actress to sign a HIPAA release for access to therapy notes and other relevant information. Instead of complying with the medical RFPs, Ms. Lively's counsel recently advised us in writing that Ms. Lively is withdrawing her infliction of emotional distress claims. Today's filing states, however, Miss Lively has refused the Wayfarers party's reasonable request that the withdrawal of such claims be with prejudice. So with monetary, like with some funds, she is only willing to withdraw her claims without prejudice. In other words, Miss Lively wants to simultaneously refuse to disclose information and documents needed to disprove that she suffered any emotional distress, and that the Wayfarer parties were the cause, and B, maintain the right to refile her IED claims at an unknown time in this or some other court after the discovery window has closed. You can't have it all your way, Blake. Like, you did this. And basically, Lively's team, they're saying all of this is a press stunt. We're doing this basically to streamline her case. Bullshit. Bullshit, streamline her case. Why? Because she's just throwing in frivolous stuff that she does not have proof of. Like, they have a way with words, man, to just give complete BS. So then it kind of just goes through the background of the case and the stuff that, like, we already know, but this is crazy. Blake is kind of beyond herself, but it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, and if this is actually going to go to trial, or if they're going to come to some type of settlement, if there's just going to be an apology. If they knew better, they would drop this. If you're already trying to remove filings and stuff, just drop it. But I'm like, are their egos that massive that they can't, at this point, they feel like we're at a point where there's a point of no return, so we have to go through with this? They just need to apologize. That's the only right thing to do. Apologize and pay, and then go away. So we'll see what takes place, but that's just a little update for you. I'll see you guys in another video.